Hey folks, welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at techniques that you could use to practice to draw hands. Now, this is going to be the first of a multi-part series of drawing hands with a focus on providing you with actionable tips that you can actually use to go ahead and get better at drawing hands. This is something that I struggle with, I continue to struggle with, and I've just developed some methods that help me better understand the hand. So your mileage may vary, but there we go. We're going to go ahead and talk about it. So what is what are the important ingredients for making a hand? Well, you want a shirt, you want a drumstick, and you want a cylinder. And how does that all work in together? Well, this shirt shape is basically going to be a simplified representation of our palm. And the drumstick is going to essentially be a simplified version of the thumb. And then the cylindrical shapes here are going to actually represent the parts that constitute each finger. So in this video, we're going to focus on how we can draw this basic structure and understand how to draw it from different angles. In the next video, we're going to add to this. We'll start to integrate the fingers. We'll start to add a little bit more complexity. But I believe in keeping things simple so that you can actually get that sense of accomplishment. So let's go ahead and do it again. Let's go ahead and draw the thumb facing the viewer. We're going to draw our shirt shape. We'll draw our oval shape here, and then we have our thumb. Let's draw it from a different angle. Let's do it to where we're looking at the top side or the side that is facing away from the palm. Well, in that case, you're still going to have an oval shape here. You're going to have a cylindrical shape. And this structure that is representing the palm area is essentially a trapezoidal shape. I'm just drawing these extra extrusions here to show you that it's actually a volumetric form, just like this is also a volumetric form. When you're practicing, I always want you to think about things in 3 dimensions. But in an effort to go ahead and make this reproducible and understandable, I want you to, just kind of like focus on the basics first, and then you can always add some complexity. So here is my trapezoidal shape. We'll go ahead and draw our oval, and then essentially we have a cylinder. And I realized the cylinder, when we're looking at the thumb, we actually have, a total of 2 cylindrical shapes, but that's getting ahead of myself. I think to keep things really simple and understandable, we need to start from something that is easily doable. And I think this particular practice is something that you can start off with. In the next video, we'll start to add more complexity. So we've got another hand. This time, we're going to be looking at the other side of the palm. So we're going to have our thumb shape, our drumstick, and we can draw the other part of the palm. So this is actually looking at it from 2 different sides. We can look at it from the palm, which is basically looking at the fleshy part. We can also look at the hand from the other side. So this is the opposite side of the palm. And, this whole idea of developing this particular technique just came about with my own frustration with drawing hands. I've looked at a lot of books. I've gotten some ideas from books. I've looked at other artists' work. And just over the years of practice and synthesis and just kind of like experimenting and trying to take what I've learned and make it make sense for me, this is how this technique came about. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention here is when you're drawing this trapezoidal shape, very important that the oval or the elliptical shape that represents the meat part of the drumstick is going to be at the bottom here. And the reason for that is that if we look at our own hands, we can see that the thumb is actually going to be much lower than the other fingers. This allows us to correct a mistake that we see often when people are drawing hands. They'll just literally draw the fingers. It just kind of looks like, I don't know what that looks like. You can tell me in the comments, but basically this is just not really a hand. So by forcing this thought process of, okay, this drumstick is going to be at the base that gives us this good launching pad to then consider drawing fingers. So how do the fingers come into play? This is a sneak peek for what we're going to talk about in the next video, but I'll just give you a very basic case here. So we're going to draw our trapezoidal shape, and I'll just move this down a smidge so I have more room to draw. I'll draw another trapezoidal shape that basically comes off from the other side. I'll draw my drumstick. Now this is going to be looking at it as if we're looking at our hand, if we're looking directly at our palm, right? So here's our drumstick, and then we can say, okay, this is going to be, we can just start to divide this like so. So I've got my pinky, I've got my other fingers here, and I realize that these fingers are a little bit thicker, but the idea is that these fingers actually kind of curl inward, right? When we're looking at our palms with our fingers tightly packed together, we do see that they're kind of moving, they're tapering to a specific point. And why do I have this little indentation in place? The indentation place is just to go ahead and say, okay, well, you know, this is going to represent the pointer, and this is going to represent the pinky. And then if I split this in half, then I've got the other two fingers, right? And there's my drumstick. That's where we're going with this. So I'm going to stop the video here, practice this. In the next video, we'll start to integrate fingers. We'll look at different ways that you can add fingers to make them more expressive. And you'll start to see how this comes into play. And then we'll start to add more details. And if you found value in this video, I would definitely appreciate a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, again, welcome. In this channel, I'm focusing on actionable techniques that can, I think, help you get better at drawing. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.